Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and today is going to be 2 months worth of manga reading lumped together in one video. This will hopefully be relatively quick, even though it's 2 months worth of reading. I'm just now kind of getting back into the manga swing of things. I know I've been saying that for months, but this weekend has definitely seen an uptick in reading, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I am going to do these instead of by the month I read them, by series, because I've been reading through some series. So top of that list is Komi Can't Communicate. I have 14 and 15 right here. I don't know, I think I did talk about it. I've also read 13, but I believe I read that a couple of months ago. But this is one of my standby series. I read a volume of this every couple of weeks, every couple of months. It's just easy slice of life. I know a lot of people kind of gave up on it around like 6 and 7 because it is kind of repetitive, but for me it's a series I don't binge. I just enjoy it when I get in a mood for it. And this is, if you've not tried it, now available on the Viz Manga app, and I would recommend trying it because some people really enjoy it. Like I said, some people don't. It's reads very serialized. I think it technically started out that way, so it's just the same stuff over and over again. Komi is making friends. She wants to make 100 friends, and you're meeting her friends as she makes them. That's it. And there is a kind of will they won't they between her and Tadano. Tadano. I don't know why it sounds weird when I say it out loud. Budding romance between them, kind of will they won't they. It's very cute. I'm very invested at this point. I want them to. I very much want them to. Another series that I am now caught up on, and that is The Ancient Magus' Bride. I read volume 16 and 17 this month. The next volume, I do believe, comes out towards the end of the year. This is a series I wholeheartedly recommend. If you do not like reading series with like a cliffhanger ending, sort of pause between volumes, what I would recommend doing is reading volumes 1 through 9 and then stopping. That's the first big arc. And then I think it's volumes 10 through, what is it? What did I say? 17? 10 through 17 is another arc. And right now we're kind of hitting the climax of this arc. So things are really kicking off. We're seeing what all the buildup has been to. The first arc, for me, the pacing was a little better. The progression was smoother from beginning to climax to end. This one, I feel like our buildup took longer. I'm not sure if it was my reading or if that's just the general overall feel of it. I'd be interested to see what other people thought. But the second arc does drag a little bit more than the first arc for me. I loved it. I'm very invested in what's happening right here, and this nonsense, I'm not going to go into detail. I don't want to give it away, but I am very invested at this point. If you are new, The Ancient Magus Bride is the story of Chise and Elias, these two characters here. Chise is sold, we'll say, she is sold to Elias, who gives her freedom, and he takes her on as his apprentice and his bride. He doesn't fully understand what that means when he says it, and he establishes it. And it's about their relationship moving forward, how they become teachers almost to one another. And there's kind of been implied sort of romance happening there, but we're not entirely sure. Mostly because we don't know who or what Elias really is. He's some sort of half-fae, maybe partially human, maybe not, some sort of monster creature. We don't know. We just know that he is powerful and he is old. And hopefully we'll find out more towards the end, but as of yet, we don't know what he is. There's a cat in here. Cat has been removed. On that note, I also read The Golden Yarn, and I have talked about this in another video, but I'll cover it here just in case to rehash, I guess. This is the first collection of short stories in the Ancient Magus Bride world. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend this even for hardcore fans. There are 3 stories in here worth looking at if you get your hands on a copy. I wouldn't pay full price for this, in full honesty. The only 3 stories that I would pay attention to are the last story, which is sort of an introduction to Jumping Jack Flash, or Jack the Flash. Why do I say, I want to say Jumping Jack Flash, but it's Jack the Flash. It's an introduction to Jack the Flash. She is a character we meet in Ancient Magus Bride, but she also has a spin-off series. There is also a story for Hazelnut, who is the centaur that helps Chise occasionally. He kind of teaches her how to use the hidden ways paths. And then there's Hazelnut. And then, or Hazel, not Hazelnut. And then there is a story about, oh, I can't remember her name. The Muse and, was it Joseph? Chise's neighbors. Joel. Right there. From the first arc. Their story was very sad and made me sob in the manga, so having a short story for them was worth it for me, I think. I did buy this used, so I got it very cheap. I wouldn't say that if I had paid full price for it, so ultimately this is a skippable collection in my opinion. If you can get it from your library, maybe check it out, borrow it from a friend, but this was not great. I'll probably try and pick up the Silver Yarn maybe this month. It's my birthday month of June, so I'm probably gonna get a lot of manga for my birthday book day, and I might look for the Silver Yarn. We'll see if it's worth picking up. I'll report back. Switching gears, we then picked up the second Marmalade Boy by Wataru Yoshizuma. So this is a old shoujo series about oh my god, I can't even remember all their names now. Miki, Yu, Genta, and oh god, the girl, her best friend, Ha-chan, who is dating the teacher. This is a, like I said, shoujo manga, so this is a romance manga. Yu and Miki's parents switch. So her dad marries his mother and his mother marries her dad, and they live together in the same house, all 6 of them. And they become step siblings and then fall in love, and that's the end. There's a whole lot of drama. This was the first shoujo series I ever read as a teenager, and they are republishing these in collector's editions, so naturally I'm a sucker for it. It was a series that I remember very fondly, so I am now picking these up and rereading them. And boy, does this have a lot of the like early 2000s, 90s tropes that shoujo manga is bad for. Mainly being the teacher and student being in love thing. These cats are 16. These cats are 16, 17. They're like middle school age, early high school age. And especially this was her name. I can't remember her best friend's name because I spent the whole time going, oh my god, why are you being stupid? Adazuki? Maybe? No, Nachan. I was right, Nachan. So Nachan, I'm trying to find, here we go, meets this teacher. This whole volume is pretty much just about this. Meets the teacher when she's 15, and they fall in love, and they kind of have this like illicit romance and then get found out, and this is the dramatic fallout from that. He actually makes a joke, the teacher, I must have a Lolita complex, and I was just like, that's gross. That's gross. I really don't like that. I don't like that. So this is mostly nostalgia for me at this point. I know that once we get past this whole thing with Nachan and the teacher, it goes back to the drama between these 3 mainly, because this is like a love triangle thing going on here. And I remember in the later volumes there's a questionable sibling something. I don't want to spoil it for people reading it. Something happens later that are really dramatic, and I loved it. This volume made my skin crawl because I forgot how ridiculous the student-teacher thing was. I thought it was like more of a minor plot line, but it's a much more major plot line than I remember. There's only 8 volumes, if I'm correct, 8 or 11 in this series overall. So like this stuff has to kick off quick to kick off. But boy, man, I forgot how gross that was and how young they were. And it's like, I'm glad we don't see as much of that anymore. That's all I'm saying. Not a volume that I recommend. I love the series for nostalgia reasons, but yikes. Big yikes. Another quick switch. Tombs by Junji Ito. This has got to be one of the stronger Junji Ito collections that I've read. My least favorite being Frankenstein and my favorite being Shiver. This probably ranks maybe third or fourth down from Shiver. And I read this the month it came out, which was like 2 months ago now. The freakiest story for me was probably the title story, Tombs, in which where you die is where your tombstone grows up out of your body. Your body becomes your tombstone and you're set there. Now, if you aren't left to rest there, your spirit kind of comes back and haunts those who move you and the city, that sort of thing. Classic Junji Ito ideas. These were all really solid. The tunnel is also very freaky. And we have a lot of classic, like, overdrawn villainous characters in these stories as well. I can't say much about it with it being a short story collection, but that it is a stronger collection for me. This is one that if you collect Junji Ito, I think you could pick up, and it would be one you would be happy to have in your collection. There are some I wouldn't say that. There are some I would say skip, like Frankenstein. I didn't like Frankenstein, but this one I did like, so another great intro into his collection. I believe the newest one that's coming out next is Soichi. It's a Soichi collection, and I think that comes out in the summer. I'm very excited for Soichi collection. I love that little crazy asshole. So that is all the physical manga that I read. So it's editing Sarah here. I was looking back into my reading journal and realized I completely forgot 3 manga. I read the first volume of Tista. This is the creator of Spy Family's new series. It is about a teenage girl assassin, and it's very much not like Spy Family. So if you've read Spy Family and like it, and you wanted to pick up Tista, just be aware it's very different. And it gets kind of twisted at the end there of the first volume. A second volume comes out, I think, in June or July. So I will definitely report in when that comes out, if it continues, because I think the main character starts to hallucinate. We'll see. But it's like a high school assassin. She works for the church, Vatican, and it's whole thing is set up to be really dark. I don't know how long this series is going to be either. I think it's going to be very short. I also read Ladies on Top Volume 2, which I really enjoyed. It is a manga series about a couple who are kind of bucking societal norms as far as like gender roles and sex life and all that stuff. It was fun. I will be picking up the third one. I do like it. If you like the more adult Ghost Ship imprint books, I recommend that one. And the other book that I read that I forgot to mention when I was filming is Witch Hat Atelier Volume 4. And that is going to be the volume that sells me on the series. I will be reading the rest of these. I was picking them up casually from the used bookstore when I saw them, which was kind of infrequently, but I managed to get to Volume 4 and read through it. And now I will probably pay close to full price, if not full price, for the rest of these. That series is about a young girl named Coco who desperately wants to learn magic, and due to a tragedy, she figures out the secret to learning magic, and now she is trying to fix her wrongs. It's beautiful, absolutely stunning, and so far it has got me hooked. So I know it's getting a lot of buzz right now, and I do think it's worth the buzz, but again, like I said, it took 3 volumes for me to be sure that I wanted to commit to it. So just, be aware going in. But that's it. Back to the rest of the video. I did read some digital manga, so I read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Volume 1. And I know that the first season and the first couple volumes aren't as great as the rest of it, so we'll keep it short. This was fine. It sets up Dio and the Joestar line. I love the artwork. It's so over the top. I love the color use in the early volume because it does some stuff where it's using a color wash for some of the pages. But wow, it's really setting up the overtopness of JoJo, and I'm very excited to get into it. I have seen most of this volume in the anime, which my husband watches, so I watch with him. I haven't seen all of it because I can't concentrate for long periods of time like he can. But this one was basically rereading it in the manga form, and I intend to pick up the next volume soon. So that's really all there's to say about JoJo. There will be more coming on that. And this weekend I have read 3 things. I read the first 2 volumes of The King's Beast. I do not remember the author on this, but I will put an image on the screen here. This is the story of a young woman who turns her back on being a woman and dresses and takes on the lifestyle of a man. She is a member of a race, I believe it's pronounced or said Ajin. I'll see if I can put it on the screen once I double checked. They are more powerful than humans, but there are far fewer of them, so humanity has subjected them, and they are now a lesser caste. She wants to avenge her twin brother's death. He reportedly was killed by the 4th prince of the imperial court, so her goal was to enter the military and become strong enough so that she is assigned as a personal guard or retainer to this prince. At the beginning of the series, she is assigned to him as one of his like beast servants. So she attempts to, infiltrate and figure out how to take his life, and in doing so finds out he is actually not responsible for her brother's death. They don't know who is, and so from here it seems they're going to investigate and find out how he died. I have 2 suspicions. Having read 2 volumes, I'm going to mention them on the hopes that maybe I am correct in the future and I will be able to say haha. So I suspect perhaps maybe her brother isn't dead. I'm not sure how that's going to work. It's just a hunch I have. And based on the title alone, I'm going to assume somehow the 4th prince becomes the emperor. Again, I don't know if the title is just a pretty title or if that's actually what happens. But aside from those 2 guesses, I'm really enjoying this. The drama in this is like, wow. Wow, the drama. But I do quite like it so far. I like anything with this kind of setting, the imperial court stuff. It really appeals to me. Probably why I enjoy Danmei. But this was really fun. I binged 2 of these volumes over the course of almost a night, and I am getting ready to dive into volume 3 probably tonight or tomorrow. I'm that excited about it. And I think there are only like 10 volumes out, so hopefully one I can catch up on. Additionally, I know this author has 2 other series, The Water Dragon's Bride and Something Arcana. I may pick up those. I know The King's Beast and Water Dragon's Bride are both on the Viz Manga app, which is where I'm reading it. So if I pick one up, it's going to be The Water Dragon's Bride. But we'll see what I think about The King's Beast and how far it's going. The Mulan vibes especially are strong with this one. I will say that the 4th prince doesn't realize that she is a woman. His other retainer has now figured it out as of volume 2, but he hasn't figured it out yet. So I'm interested to see where that goes. We'll find out. So far, I like it. Don't know much else about it. 2 volumes in, it's one that I intend to continue reading, and it is on the Viz Manga app again if you want to try it. And the final thing that I want to talk about is Imakoi Now I'm in Love Volume 1. I finished that today. Also in Viz Manga app, and I'm gonna be honest, I thought this was gonna be like a pick up and put down situation. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, because shoujo manga are hit and miss for me. Like, these contemporary romance style mangas are kind of hit and miss. There's very specific ones I like. And this one I really liked. Just that first volume, it's very sweet. It's very cute. I really love the dynamic. This is the story of a young schoolgirl, and she meets a boy her age. He saves her from a pervert on the train who is groping her, and continues to just help her because he says that's what anyone would do. It's not, and he doesn't realize that, but he thinks everyone should do that sort of thing. And he's kind of really tall and a little bit intimidating and scary looking. So she decides she wants to get to know him better, and she asks him out, and they start dating. And all that happens at the first volume, because this is more the story of what happens after someone confesses and you start dating, and how your relationship kind of develops. And wow, it's so cute. There's 2 little kisses in this volume, and just both times I was just like, oh, look at them, they're precious. It really hit me. So I will continue this series as well. If you want something super light and fluffy, it's available on the app. It's very cute. I think it was or it is in Comixology Unlimited. I'm not sure. They may have taken it out because of the manga app's arrival. But this one I know is kind of hyped in a lot of manga circles, and now I see why. There will be more Imakoi in these manga wrap-up videos. I have actually put 2 volumes on my loose TBR for the month, so at minimum I'm reading 2 more this month. We will see. So that's everything that I have read as far as manga goes. I do not have any unread manga on my shelves. I'm pretty sure. I have to think, yes. So I am caught up. I have read everything I own. I intend to finish, not finish, but catch up, read a bunch of The King's Beast and Imakoi. I am caught up on Ancient Magus Bride, and I will probably read some more Komi. So that's the stuff you'll probably see moving in the future. I also really want to get back into reading my Black Clover. I'm about halfway through that series, and I really want to catch up on it. So hopefully some more Black Clover. The problem with Black Clover is that I get really invested, and when there's these big fight scenes and I can't sit and binge it because I have a toddler and a full-time job, I get very frustrated. So we'll see if I manage to overcome my anxious, gotta read it all now sort of hump. But that's it. That's it for the monthly manga update. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you have any thoughts, and do you have any recommendations specifically for manga maybe available on the apps? I am a subscriber to both the Shonen Jump and the Viz Manga app because for $2 and $3, that is a hell of a good deal. I've already made up that money and more in 2 days. So let me know down below, and I will talk to you guys again in about 3 or 4 weeks for the next manga wrap up. Bye guys!